Our stretch routine today is going to be a whole body stretch. We've got lots of movement for the hips, lots of rotation, and we will be getting up and down off the floor. So if you're joining in today and you know that you perhaps need a little bit of assistance getting up and down off the floor, it's handy to have a piece of furniture nearby if you know that you need that little bit of help. Of course, if you feel unwell, then give today a miss and you can always join in another time. If you experience any pain or discomfort with any of the stretches or the movements, then either modify to something that suits you better or just miss that little bit out. If you are exercising alone, it's a good idea to have a method of communication nearby, so have a phone handy, something like that, just in case you need to reach out for any help. You're not going to need any special equipment, just some space to move your arms and legs in all direction. As I said, we are getting down onto the floor, so a comfortable space on the floor. If you've got an exercise mat, that's ideal. Okay, should we get started then? So if I can have you stood with your feet about hip width apart, nice and tall. A couple of deep breaths in through the nose and then out through the mouth. Good, and just feeling calm and ready to start your stretches. We'll do some shoulder rolls to begin with. Up, round and back. So this is a really nice way just to release any tension in the upper body. Let the arms hang heavy. We'll do a couple more. Good stuff. Okay, now if you just place one foot slightly in front of the other, nice wide stance, and I want you to swing your body, rotate, letting the arms go heavy, maybe letting the eye line follow. And we're just getting a little twist either side. Good, and your arms might kind of slap the side of the body, that's okay. We'll do one more to each side like this. And then we'll swap over. So we've got the other foot in front, same movement, just varies the bias on the stretch a little bit. So nice and heavy, just go at whatever pace suits you. Waking up those muscles, loosen everything up a little bit. Great stuff. And then you're going to come to a parallel stance. I'm going to just go on a slight angle so that you can see the movement that I want you to do a little bit better. Hands are going to be behind your head, so just with the fingertips behind the ears. And then we're going to do a standing cat-cow. So I want you to bend your knees a little bit, bring the elbows together in front of you, so you curve them round the back. And then you straighten the knees, push the elbows back and look up towards the ceiling. And we'll keep alternating between those two positions. Just go in as far in each range as you feel comfortable to go. So we curve the spine and then arch the back. Curve the spine, little bend in the knees, elbows together. Open the elbows, raise the eye line. We'll do two more. Good stuff. And then let the arms hang heavy. I'm going to come facing you again so that you can see the movement, and we are going to stand in a wider stance than we would do for a normal kind of stance position. Bend your knees for me and lean forwards a little bit. So you're in a kind of squat ready pose. You're then going to let the arms dangle heavy, and we're swinging from side to side. So arms up towards the ceiling. Can't help feeling a little bit ape-like when I do this one. So momentum's taking us through the movement. We're twisting and getting a little bit of gentle movement through the hips as well. Working in whatever range you feel comfortable. We'll go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then come up into a nice tall standing position. Turn the feet out a little bit. We're going to stay in this very wide stance, and I want you to put your hands onto your hips. So that's going to help you keep the chest open and collarbones wide there. We're going to take an alternating side lunge. So over one way and then over the other way. So we're introducing a little bit of movement for our knees, the ankles, the hips are going to get a bit of a stretch as well. So think of it as kind of lubricating, oiling those joints up a little bit. Now you can start to add in a bit more of a twist. So taking the shoulder forward as you go side to side. And then if you want to increase that, you can add a bit of a lean. So you're taking your elbow to the opposite knee. Good. And stick with whatever range you feel most comfortable. There is another little variation we can add. So as you come across, pull the toes up towards you on that straight leg side. Just going to increase that inner thigh stretch a little bit. Play around with it. See what you end up with. Over and over. We'll just go one more to each side, I think. Great stuff, well done. Now we're going to make our way down onto the floor. So we're coming into a high kneel position. So with this one, we want one knee out in front, toes tucked underneath on the back foot ideally, and push your hips forward, squeeze your bottom cheeks together. Placing the fingertips behind the ears like we did that standing cat-cow stretch, we're going to do one in this high kneel position. So you're going to curve and round, and then open out. Curve and round. Elbows coming together, round the upper back. Open the elbows out. Good stuff. Keep going forwards and back. Now, if you feel a little bit wobbly with this one, you could hold on to a bit of furniture, or if you prefer to just go forwards and backwards in your stretch without the spine curl, then those are both good options. We're going to swap onto the other side now, so bring the other leg out in front. Placing that foot firmly, tucking the toes underneath. If you press into that back foot, it will help sort of place you into the ground and help you feel nice and sturdy there. A wide stance, so train tracks rather than a tightrope. So you're lining each foot up on the train tracks. And then we're going to put fingertips behind the ears into that high kneel cat-cow. So curving around the back, open up. And although this is essentially our cat-cow stretch, you're going to feel it not only through the upper back, you'll feel it perhaps a little bit around the front of the thigh, certainly in the hips. Working in whatever range you've got available and going at whatever pace you feel comfortable with as well. So if you want to hold at the end of range for each one, you can. Let's just do a couple more. Brilliant, well done. And then we're going to come into a 4-point position. So a little bit more of a sturdy position here. Hands about shoulder width apart. Knees probably about hip width apart. You're going to want these underneath you a little bit more. We're going to do some hip circles here. So what that means is you're going to bring one knee up, round and back. So you're kind of opening round and circle round. If I just come face on a little moment, you can perhaps see that movement a little bit more clearly. So you're circling round. And you can come down and rest in between each one, or you can just keep going around with that kind of stirring the pot action. Alrighty, let's swap that over to the other side. Come side on again because it's more comfortable on the mat. So I'm swapping onto the other leg now. Big hip circles round. And you can rest in between, you can just keep going, but getting through that full range of hip movement. Let's have 3 more, 2 more, and last one. Lovely. Now take your bottom down towards your heels, reach your arms out in front, and just a little pause there in our child's pose, pushing the tailbone down towards the floor, reaching the fingertips away from you. Excellent stuff, well done. Okay, we're going to come back to that 4-point position. I'll come face on again. This is an odd little one. You're going to have one leg out to the side. You're then going to come back down towards that child's pose position and then taking it forwards. So this is a nice movement for your hip. We come side on so you can see that. So I'm coming back here and then taking it forwards. Good. So like normal, just go in whatever range you feel comfortable to manage. And then let's swap that over to the other side. So you're going to bring that knee back in, taking the other one out, and then you sit back and go forwards. Good stuff. Sitting back and going forwards. And like with a lot of these stretches, you may find that one side feels a little bit different to the other. I'm particularly drawn to mention that because this side for me feels a lot stiffer in my back. But that's okay. That's where we go through our stretches regularly. Even everything out and hopefully minimize any little strains and pulls that we might come and encounter. So keep moving through your full available range. Next one, the last one. Fantastic stuff. And then you're going to unfold yourself from that position, and I'll get you to come and lay onto your back in a rest position. So that's where we've got our knees bent, feet about hip width apart, and just try and melt yourself down in towards the floor. We're going to work on a hamstring stretch next. So if I can get you to pick one leg up and hold the back of the thigh, so you can just link your fingertips at the back of the thigh there. Pull your toes up towards you, and you're going to straighten that leg, point at the top, and come down. Toes up towards you, straighten the knee, and then circle it round. And we'll just keep going with that one. And you can kind of almost like a pedal stroke. So you can let the thigh go with it a little bit as well if you want. So you come up, push up to the ceiling, circle it round. But always supporting the back of the thigh with your hands. That's going to get you a stretch up the back of the leg, your hamstring muscles. You're also going to get a little bit of a pull at the back of the calf when we get up to the top of the movement there with the heel up towards the ceiling. Let's do two more this side. Cycling it round, up, round, and then come back down. Same one to the other leg. So pick it up, link at the back of the thigh, pull the toes up towards you. We're going to take heel up to the ceiling, point the foot as it comes round. And then, as I say, if you want to turn that into a bigger kind of cycle action, you can. So we're kind of flowing through all of these movements, getting towards the end of our available ranges. Let's go 3 more. 2 more. And last one. And then come down. Both feet onto the floor, knees and feet together, arms out to the side. I feel like I can't do a mobility routine without a hip twist because it just feels so good. But we've already had lots of rotation for our back. You can work either in a very flowy movement where you get to the end of one range and then up and over to the other side, or you might prefer to get over and just kind of pause there. Whatever feels best for you. I'm going to have another sort of 20 seconds or so of this one, there or thereabouts. And then when you're done, bring both knees up and in towards the chest, give them a little squeeze in, and maybe a rock from side to side. Good. And then you're going to gently roll yourself up into a seated position. Now what I'd like you to do here is just to pause in a little cross leg stretch. Now I know this isn't comfortable for everyone, so if it's not comfortable for you, then you can sit with your legs just out in front. You may prefer to go and sit yourself into a chair if you've got one available. So choose the most comfortable position, but ideally let's get into this cross leg because we've been working on hip range and this is a good position for that. I'm actually going to turn on a little bit of an angle so you can see what I want you to do, and that is we're working on circles for our spine. So shifting weight over to one side, round, back, over to the other side and forward. So it's like you're kind of stirring a pot and your spine is the spoon. So big circles round. I'm using my hands on my knees to give me a little bit of purchase and to kind of pull round and round. Now, if you pay attention to the direction of your circle, are you going clockwise or anti-clockwise? Because I want you to then go in the opposite direction. Turn around. You might have one side that feels a bit more natural to do than the other, but always aiming for symmetry. Circling round. 3 more. 2 more. And then last one. Just come and settle there. And then the next thing we're going to do is make our way up into standing. So carefully up you come, bringing yourself into a nice, strong, tall standing position. We're going to do a little bit of work for your foot and ankle. So if you can circle your foot around with the ball of the foot on the floor, and then round in the opposite direction. Now coming up next will be a toe stretch. Sounds a bit odd, but it's not somewhere that we always focus on stretching. So on this foot that we've been circling around, we'll do the other one in a minute, what I want you to do is go right over onto the very kind of knuckles of your foot, if you like. So you're stretching the front of the foot. You're then going to come back onto the ball of the foot. So you're just pressing the ball of the foot into the floor. Over you go. Putting your weight over onto those toes and then come back. Now, most of our weight is, of course, on this supporting leg, but you get that stretch at the front of the foot. It feels like one of those, oh, I didn't know I needed to stretch that kind of stretches. Let's do one more. Good. And then place that foot back onto the floor. We'll do our ankle circles on the other side. So circling round. And stand up as tall as you can for me. Good, and then go around the other way. Super. Okay, let's get up and over onto those toes now. So sort of right up onto your tippy toe and then over. So you're curling the toes underneath. Feel that pull at the front of the foot and come back. You can do this in sitting as well, or holding onto a little bit of furniture if you feel that need to have that extra bit of balance. We're pulling up on our supporting side, going over the toe and come back. Over and back. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Over and back. Good stuff. Giving the feet a little bit of a shake out and then come into that nice tall stance position. Our stretch routine is done, but I want to go through a little posture check for you before I let you go. Equal weight between the base of the big toe, the little toe and the heel on either side. So we're forming 3 points of a triangle, firmly fixing us in towards the floor. Lift the rib cage up off the pelvis so you're creating a gap between your belly button and your breastbone. The weight of the arms pulls the shoulders away from the ears. And think about lengthening up the back of your neck. Great stuff, well done. So that's your routine complete. I will see you again for another stretch another time. But thank you very much for joining me and I hope you enjoyed it. See you soon.